Have you ever wished you could just peek over the shoulders of the world's best investors and see what they're really doing with their cash? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. We've dug into the Q4 2025 moves of 82 of these elite fund managers to decode their playbook. Let's see what the smart money is telling us.
So, what's the big takeaway here? By digging into the data, we get this incredible snapshot of what the absolute best in the business were thinking and doing at the end of 2025. It gives us a real sense of where they believe the market is headed.
Okay, first things first. Who are we even talking about? Well, this data comes from a very select group we call Superinvestors. And look, these aren't your run-of-the-mill fund managers. We're talking about the elite, the best of the best, with long, proven track records of beating the market. Think of legends like Warren Buffett or Seth Klarman.
All right, let's get right to the good stuff. Where did the capital actually flow? Which companies really caught the eye of these top investors? The answer is pretty darn clear.
And wow, taking the top spot by a long shot is Microsoft. A remarkable 16 of the 82 super investors were buying in. I mean, that is a huge vote of confidence, and it all points to one thing: its absolute dominance in the infrastructure that is powering this whole AI revolution.
Right behind Microsoft, we've got Amazon, which attracted 11 of these top managers. Their bet here seems to signal a really strong belief that the company's two massive engines, e-commerce and cloud computing, still have a ton of room to grow.
And close on Amazon's heels is Meta Platforms. 10 super investors were adding to their positions. So if you thought the smart money was counting Meta out, well, think again.
Now this is interesting. We see a little break from just pure tech. The financial sector gets a major nod here, with 9 of these elite managers buying into the payment giant Visa. That tells you they believe in the long-term strength of digital payments.
And rounding out our top 5 is Taiwan Semiconductor, with 8 super investors beefing up their holdings. This just perfectly ties a bow on the whole theme, doesn't it? They're betting on the essential hardware, the real picks and shovels that make the entire global AI boom possible.
So let's just step back and look at this list for a second. Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Visa, and TSM. You just can't miss the pattern. It's a massive concentration of capital flowing straight into big tech, AI infrastructure, and the core financial plumbing of the digital world.
But here's a really important question. To make these huge bets on track, the money had to come from somewhere, right? Well, the data shows us a very clear, very strategic rotation happening under the surface of the market.
Think of it like a giant tide of capital shifting. On one side, we saw money flowing out of traditional banks and the energy sector. There was even some profit-taking in a giant like Apple. And where did that money go? It moved directly into financial technology or Fintech and those AI and cloud giants we just talked about. This is a classic pivot from the old guard to the new.
Just watching the super investors is powerful stuff. But what if I told you there's another layer to this analysis? A signal so strong it can act as the ultimate confirmation of a good idea. That's what happens when their bets line up perfectly with what the people inside the company are doing.
Yeah, we're talking about insiders. These are the people who know the company inside and out, the directors, the top executives. So when they take their own money and use it to buy shares in their own company, well, that is one of the most powerful votes of confidence you can possibly find.
I love this. Think of it as a 1-2 punch of conviction. First, you get the world's best outside analysts, the super investors, saying, hey, this company looks like a great value. And then the people who know the business best, the insiders, step up and confirm that idea with their own hard-earned cash. The result? That's what we call a peak confidence signal.
So you're probably asking, all right, where is this powerful double signal flashing right now? According to the data, it's pointing to 4 specific companies: Sonos, Alpha Metallurgical Resources, Grocery Outlet, and International Flavors and Fragrances. Every one of these has super investor ownership and has seen significant buying from their own top brass lately.
But now, we have to talk about the other side of the coin, the risk. Because not every super investor strategy is about playing it safe and diversifying. Some of these managers make enormous, highly concentrated bets that can lead to absolutely spectacular wins, or, well, equally spectacular flameouts.
I mean, just look at this. This is the most extreme example we found in the data, with the online car retailer Carvana. One super investor has a mind-boggling 83% of their entire portfolio in this one stock. 83%. This isn't just a bet, it's a full-blown, all-in conviction play.
And listen, while Carvana is absolutely the most jaw-dropping case, it is not totally alone. We see other high-conviction plays out there.
like one manager with 43% of their fund in Molina Healthcare and another with 39% in Warrior Met Coal. For some, this is a very deliberate, high-stakes way to invest.
So you have to ask yourself, right? When you see a bet disconcentrated, is it a masterstroke of absolute genius, or is it a catastrophic risk just waiting to happen? The line between those two things can be razor thin. Okay, let's pull all of this together and zoom back out. If we put all these different pieces of the puzzle together, what are the key signals these super investors were sending us at the end of 2025? For me, it really boils down to three main takeaways. First, there's just an overwhelming, undeniable bet on AI and big tech infrastructure. Second, we see a really clear strategic pivot away from old-school banks and into the world of fintech. And finally, it's a powerful reminder that high-conviction investing is a double-edged sword. And that really leaves us with one final thought. We've seen where some of the world's most successful investors are placing their bets. We've seen how they're pivoting and the incredible risks they're willing to take. And so the real question is, after seeing all this, where do you find your conviction?